what is it with this team? Why did the Chiefs keep winning? I don't understand it. Because there's nothing overly impressive about anything they're doing all season long.
I mean, we could say they get all the calls because, quite frankly, they do. But winning is a habit, just like losing is. When you win all the time, you expect to win. Regardless of how things are going at the current time in the game, you figure, as long as we're within 8 points, we can at least tie it up. And if you notice the Chiefs, they're like the Steelers. They rarely ever get, when they do lose, it's rarely ever a blowout. So they're in every game.
Welcome to Six Rings and Counting. I'm your host, Corey Idle, and joining me to explain this debacle of a game is my man, Mr. Lou Willard. Lou, what happened to us, dog?
Oh, a simple explanation. You fumble at the 4. They go 96 yards. That's 14-point swing. You're driving. Pick 6. There's another 7. There's your ball game. You lost by 17.
Boom. Done and done.
It's not hard to explain.
No, that's pretty simple math.
They fumbled the ball 3 times. Pittsburgh recovered none of them.
Isn't that insane? That hasn't happened to Pittsburgh all year. All those bounced right into our hands all season long. Crazy.
But yesterday it didn't. And then you got to figure that's Lamar's first time ever playing against the Steelers in Baltimore. You figure he was due to have a decent game. And he didn't go ballistic on us, but he did have the 3 touchdown passes, but they were nothing spectacular.
No, he put up 207, 3 tutties, and an interception.
Our issue was they untracked Derrick Henry. But you figure sooner or later, it's a rivalry for a reason, or however you say that word, for a reason. And this is the reason. You win some, lose some.
It really is. And here's a bigger concern to me, and I understand the optics, right? No George Pickens, no JPJ, totally fine. Understand.
No Jackson.
No Jackson.
No Ogunjobi.
All changes everything about how we play the game, especially with the first 2 guys I mentioned. Those are superstars for our offense and defense, respectively. So I understand that. However, this is the second game in a row, being the Eagles a couple weeks ago, where defense can't get off the damn field. They are putting drives up against us. And I know it's Derrick Henry, it's Lamar Jackson.
Yeah.
Everything you said makes perfect sense. You couple that in with the injuries, guys we had out, totally different ball game.
I think that's exactly what it is.
Is that all? Is that all it is? Because we look soft as baby food right now.
Well, you're without your second best defensive tackle. You're without your starting corner, and you were without safety. Mm-hmm. I mean, a lot of people don't realize Pittsburgh played this game because JPJ got hurt early.
Yeah.
So people don't realize we played with 2 rookie corners because Corey Trice is technically his second year, but he missed his rookie season.
Yeah.
So this is his rookie season, and Beanie Bishop is a rookie.
Yes.
So that's what you played with.
And in fairness, Beanie Bishop is definitely more of a slot corner. I wouldn't put him at the 1 or the 2.
Yeah, but we had to go out wide.
Exactly. You had no choice.
You're out of bodies. You're out of bodies. Now, again, no excuses, no explanations. You got beat. You know the tackling was better, but it could still be better. Because you're tackling a true grown man this week. You know, he was a grown man. And let's sometimes you gotta get a devil's due. I mean, they have some stuff to prove too. Derrick Henry is a first ballot Hall of Famer without question. And he said they held me to 65 yards.
And a fumble.
I bet they don't hold me to 65 this time.
And boy,
so he had a whole lot to prove too.
Hey. Let's calm down now. We held him to 162 yards. He went off, ran angry. And if anybody out there is wondering, like, oh, JPJ, that's just an excuse. Zay Flowers had 5 catches for 100 yards.
Yeah.
That's his best game against the Steelers, period.
Ever. And what they did, to their credit, and this is why I've always said Harbaugh is a really good John Harbaugh is a really good coach. I'm never giving Jim credit. I don't care what he do. I don't like him. But the man can coach. Soon as 27 came in, they said, we throwing at him. Because he hasn't played. He hasn't played.
100%. And you really saw
and so they
that.
went after him, and he gave up a couple plays.
Oh, yeah. And I think you saw the difference in JPJ being on and off the field on this defense in the Mark Andrews touchdown, because there was a miscommunication. You had 2 guys go over and cover Zay Flowers, leaving Mark Andrews wide open. JPJ's in the game. You're not even worried about that side of the field. And
the same thing happened on Isaiah Likely's touchdown. I mean, he couldn't. I don't think he could. If only way he could have been more open if one of the teams was playing with 10 players instead of 11. There was no way to get more open than he was. But it was a blown coverage, and that's what you get. You're out there playing with rookies. But guess who don't care that you playing with rookies? Baltimore don't care that you playing with rookies. They did what they had to do. This is what I'm not going to do about this game. Is overreact to losing back-to-back games to what could potentially very realistically be the Super Bowl matchup, the Eagles versus the Ravens. Those are the 2 games you lost. That could be the Super Bowl. That's
true.
So, and you weren't boat raced out of either stadium. I know we lost by 17, so that is technically a blowout. I will acknowledge that. This game was 17-17. Pittsburgh came back, had the ball to take the lead, and muffed it up again. That's what they have to stop. The same thing happened last week. They had the ball with the Eagles to tie it up, turn it over, and then the Eagles score 14-point swing. Super Bowl teams don't do that. No. So if they want to come back and be a Super Bowl team, we have to stop turning the ball over in situations like that. But there is no shame in losing competitive games on back-to-back weeks on the road. Now, if they were at home, I'd be a little bit more concerned. But we lost them both on the road back-to-back weeks. Sure. And that could very well be the Super Bowl, especially with Detroit losing Montgomery.
Let me bring up something that may be of concern. And you just tell me if I'm just looking for something to be concerned about, which is very possible. 5 of our last 6 games, we've scored 18 points, 19 points, 44 points. That was the big game. 27 points, 13 points, 17 points. We're not scoring a lot of points. We got in the shootout with the Bengals, and that was great. We showed that we can. We also know the Bengals have no defense to speak of whatsoever. It seems like, and again, I'm going back on Arthur Smith on this, and I know these are grown-ass men on the other side of the ball too, but there is so much talent on this team.
Yeah.
We're not putting up the points, and it seems like in the bigger games, Philadelphia, Baltimore, the first Browns game, which was a fluke, I get it, but the other Ravens game, we're shrinking to a bigger opponent.
No, this is where I disagree. Okay. We're not shrinking. We're turning the ball over. You scored 13 against the Eagles, but you threw a pick in the end zone.
True.
You know what I mean? Then you turned the ball over inside the 10 in the same game. And then against the Ravens, you throw a pick 6 when you're in the red zone.
Yep.
I mean, so those 13 and 17 turn into 20 and 24 real quick, just on that stuff I told you. And with the Eagles, it could have turned from 20 to 27.
Mm-hmm.
So we're in position to score the points. Just the last 2 weeks, the turnovers have reared their ugly head. So it's not the. I'm here agreeing with Arthur Smith. Ain't this it? But it's not anything he's doing. We got to quit turning the ball over.
That's true.
And then all of a sudden, you're back in the 24, 27, 30-point range.
How do you fix the turnover problem? What do you
execute? I mean, I hate to sound like Mike Tomlin, but execution. Like Russ should have never threw that ball. And he even said it. He said, he said, I made a mistake. And then when he fumbles on the 4, slide. You're the quarterback. You slide. They can't hit you. And they weren't stopping our run because let's not get it twisted. Pittsburgh ran the ball on them too. This is the number 100%. 1 rated run defense in the league. And Pittsburgh ran for what? Let me check my notes here. It was something crazy, 160-something yards or something like that.
Yeah, we had a great rushing day. Russ had 3 for 27. Najee was in for 9 for 42. We ran for
117. Yeah, because you take the sack yards off. You got to take the sack yards off. We ran for 117.
12 for 48.
Yeah, but we ran the ball on them well. You know, against that defense in their venue, that's a hell of a running day.
Yes.
So
100%.
if you don't turn the ball over, we're not even having the question about how many points we're scoring because you're putting it in the end zone. And I don't say that because of the turnover. I say because of where the turnover occurred at in the end zone, at the 4, inside the 10. Man, you're at least kicking field goals or scoring touchdowns. Yep. But we're turning the ball over lately, so we got to cut the turnovers out.
Red zone turnovers, especially, have just
that's all.
You're 100%.
Jesus, that's all they've been. It seems like those are the ones that stand out anyway. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Jesus ain't got nothing to do with it. Don't bring him into this.
Well, according to Jameis Winston, he does.
That's true. That is true. Let's move off of Jesus and talk about the tie we're in now. Tied in the AFC North with the Ravens, both 10-5. Our next 2 games are the Chiefs and the Bengals. Both are at home, so that is good. We're expecting both guys back, as far as I know, being Pickens and JPJ. There's no indication that they're going to be out. Let me say that.
Yeah.
This Chiefs team, Lou, I mean, we've talked all season about them. They get the calls, yada, yada, yada. Do you see, honestly, like I'm looking at them right now, what is it with this team? Why did the Chiefs keep winning? I don't understand it. Because there's nothing overly impressive about anything they're doing all season long.
I mean, we could say they get all the calls because, quite frankly, they do. But winning is a habit. Just like losing is. When you win all the time, you expect to win. Regardless of how things are going at the current time in the game, you figure, as long as we're within 8 points, we can at least tie it up. And if you notice the Chiefs, they're like the Steelers. They rarely ever when they do lose, it's rarely ever a blowout. So they're in every game. So then it comes back to small stuff, execution. And then that's where a team would do something stupid. And then the Chiefs get a call. Then it's all of a sudden the Chiefs getting all the calls. Like when they beat the Bengals earlier. No, I'm sorry. I hate the Chiefs, but that was pass interference on the Bengals. Isaiah Likely's toe was out of bounds for the Ravens. That they win games like that. So if you want to beat them, you got to be sound in your preparation and your execution. If you're not, they are going to find a way to beat you. That said, this is, and I'll call it a must-win for Pittsburgh. Because now you're still leading the division. You still control your own destiny for that home playoff game. But if they win Christmas Day, they can rest their players against the Bengals because you're locked into the 3 seed. You can't catch the Bills. And I'm telling you that now because they played the Patriots twice and the Jets once. You're not catching the Bills. Now, the Bills may catch the Chiefs because the Chiefs have the Steelers and the Broncos. They could lose out, and the Bills could leapfrog them, which still puts Pittsburgh back at Kansas City in the second round of the playoffs, providing they win their first game, which they better, or it's going to be mayhem in the Steel City.
Yep. And we just got to throw this out there. If Kansas City somehow wins this game on Christmas Day against us and then beats Denver and Cincinnati wins a couple games, boy, this is about to get messy.
Yes. Oh, Cincinnati, as we record this morning, which is a Sunday, Cincinnati, if they lose at home to Cleveland, they're eliminated.
Yep.
That's the best thing that can happen for Pittsburgh because they may rest Jamar. They may rest, why are you putting them out there?
Well, right. If you're eliminated.
They might not put Burrow and Lamar out there. Or not Burrow, but Burrow and Chase out there.
Yeah.
In that last game. But Pittsburgh just needs to handle their business because the Ravens will lose it to Texans, just like the Chiefs will lose at Pittsburgh. This game, all these teams, everybody is 3 games in 11 days. All 4 teams are playing 3 games in 11 days.
Yeah.
It's not like they bringing in, I don't know, now the Steelers all of a sudden got to play the Bills on 4 days rest. That's why the Bills been sitting around since last Sunday.
Right.
That's not how the league did it. Now, I love it for a football perspective. I hated that it's my team. Just like I'm sure the other 3 fan bases hated that it's their team. But at least all they did was create a round robin. They played Saturday. They were playing Wednesday. It's the same 4 teams. They just switch venues. If you were on the road, you get to play at home. If you were home, you got to go on the road and you just switch teams.
That's it.
That's the easiest way they could have did it. And they did it with markets. They know Pittsburgh is going to turn on televisions.
Oh, yeah.
Whether you love them or hate them, they will have a high rating. They notice everybody loves or hates the Chiefs.
Mm-hmm.
That game will be one of the most viewed football games in the history of the league.
Oh,
and
absolutely.
then you got the dynamic of the Ravens and the upcoming Texans. And the Texans are going to beat them at home because they have to. And then the teams on the road only has 2.5 days to get ready because they have to travel.
Mm-hmm.
And you have to be in the city you play in within 24 hours of the game. So they got basically day and a half, 2 days to get ready and a day to go, get to the hotel. I mean, they'll have catering ready. They do this for a living. But they'll be in the hotel watching film, going through walkthroughs, doing meetings at a hotel. Mm-hmm. You can't let that team come in your gym and beat you. You can't.
No. Patrick Mahomes yesterday, they, as we just said, played same day as Steelers-Ravens game. Beat the Texans 27-19. Patrick Mahomes threw for 260 yards. His last few games against the Browns threw for 159, against the Chargers 210. Vegas, he put up 306. Carolina 269, Buffalo 196. We're not seeing the Patrick Mahomes numbers. Xavier Worthy was their leading receiver yesterday, 65 yards against the Texans.
Yeah.
Bad defense. Kareem Hunt, 55 yards, was their leading rusher against the Texans. Bad defense. I know we're coming off this loss. I know I've used words like soft and things like that. Lou, I got to tell you, I'm not scared of the Chiefs in this game. One thing about them frightens me other than the fact that they are the Kansas City Chiefs.
Well, one thing that should catch your attention is that they got Hollywood Brown back. And Xavier Worthy had 11 targets yesterday. And Brown just came back off the broken clavicle. Mm-hmm. And he had 8 targets right out the gate. So they have their top 2 receivers back. They have a first ballot, in my opinion, the greatest tight end to ever play the game in Travis Kelce. Mm-hmm. The way the game is played now, back when I was younger, it was a couple different guys, Kevin Winslow, Ozzie Newsome. But the way the game's played now, you have.
How old are you?
Dude, look, Dusty O. Dusty O. Who you think made Moses sandals? I did. I made Moses them sandals. But nonetheless, so they have a formidable offense. And now Pacheco's back. Mm-hmm. But Kelsey's also 34 years old, and he's also going to be on 4 days rest. Mm-hmm. Hollywood Brown, fresh. Xavier Worthy, a baby. He young. What is he? 22, 23?
Yeah.
He don't care. He'll play. So they're going to show up. But so you got some stuff that you have to plan for and you have to stop. But when you got this short of amount of time, as all the teams, Kansas City on the same situation we in, mm-hmm. except they have to travel. I keep going back to that. But those guys they'll be on the plane watching film. Everybody is in the same situation. What you're going to do in this game is you're going to go to the best stuff you run is what you're going to run. Because you don't have time to put a whole lot of other stuff in. You can put a couple plays in game, but that's going to all depend on game script. Oh, 100%. So what Pittsburgh has to hope is that you can get JPJ and Jackson back so we actually have our top 2 corners, and the 2 rookies can go to where they normally go. If we got to start with those rookies, Mahomes may eat them up. So we are going to have to put up points, which means we got to get George Pickens back. The best thing about George Pickens being out is it's unleashing Calvin Austin. And I told you, didn't I tell you 15? Because it looked like my man Mike Williams going to let me down. He may let me down. But I told you, Calvin Austin, I've been preaching about him all year. And I told you this 15 is good.
Mm-hmm.
Let that kid play. So that's the good thing about Pickens being out for those couple games is that you see that you do have 2 more receivers. And you remember, they still never seen Roman Wilson.
That's
and
true.
It appears we might not this year.
No, well, technically we haven't seen Van Jefferson or Mike Williams yet.
And they've been running around out there every week.
Every week. They look like ball boys right now. They got to step it up. You got to step it up. Van Jefferson
got to step up.
What are you doing, man? Anyway, yeah, I think we're also excluding the Brittany Mahomes factor. I mean, she's pissed having to go to Pittsburgh on Christmas Day. And she don't keep her mouth shut. She going to be chirping that whole time. That's going to be a factor too. Patrick Mahomes going to have to put up with that every night. That's just not going to be fun for him.
I'm not going to talk about the man's wife.
I'm talking about her. I said it.
I'm not going to talk about the man's wife.
I'll take my earrings off. We could fucking throw down. I don't care. Anyway. No, I did not just challenge Brittany Mahomes to a fight, by the way. Our running game, Najee and Jaylen Warren are running so well. So well. And I'm throw out the fumble against the Eagles with Najee.
Oh, yeah.
Mistakes happen. He had a bad drop yesterday where he again was picking his head up, looking to run in the flats. Sometimes you do that. Fair enough. Our running game is so well, are doing so well. Do we need to focus more on that and actually back Russ off of his passing a little bit? Or is this more just trying to keep up with points?
I don't think so. I think you need to put points on the board. I think the reason why we're running so well is because Russ is throwing the ball well.
Okay.
So that's when you throw the ball well, it opens up the runs because they have to slow the second level of the defense down when you do that. And that's exactly what you're seeing. Russ doesn't look as good as he should because you don't have one of the top 10 receivers in the league. I mean, watch how Burrow would look if Jamar Chase didn't play today. He looked totally different because he is the best receiver in the league. I'm not even arguing anybody about it. Look at the numbers. And matter of fact, don't even do that. Watch the game. But nonetheless, when you get Pickens back, Russ will look better. And it would help if Mike Williams give me more than 1 catch a game.
That would really help a lot.
Because Calvin Austin is working. And 15, I don't know how to say his name, so I'll call him 15. But he's taking somebody's spot. So they better figure it out. And because I'm telling you, he showed yesterday that he deserves more playing time at wide receiver.
100%.
He going to mess around and get Van Jefferson or Mike Williams cut is what's going to happen because the kid is good. He is what he reminds me of. And I'll say a poor man's at this time. I'll preface it with poor man's.
Mm-hmm.
Julian Edelman, Wes Welker. It's that Adam Thielen. It's that, and I know they're all white. Well, he white too, but it ain't. I mean, but that's that player. That
100%.
is that player. Nobody can guard him. Everybody go, that white dude ain't gonna do nothing. He running around the field wide open all game.
So what y'all
mean he ain't gonna do nothing?
They
still ain't guarded. They still ain't guarded Wes Welker.
No,
or Julian Edelman. They still running around wide open.
Yeah, look, these possession receivers are extraordinarily important in today's game when you are passing so much. You have to have these guys, whether they're white or black or brown or purple, it doesn't matter.
These all just, I compare them to the guys he looked like.
Yeah, that's it. And well, he does. They're all white. We get it, Lou. But
you sprinkle a little controversy into the show. Those of you who know me know that's not the case at all, though.
We're trying to go viral. That's all. That's all it is. With this game, Lou, the Chiefs game coming up. We've been all over the map here. They got pieces back. We're hoping to get some pieces back. Let's say everything is picture perfect. We got Pickens back. We got JPJ back. They got Pacheco running. They got Hollywood Brown out there, D-Hop, Xavier Worthy. what do you truly anticipate happening in this game? Is it a time of possession game or is it a shootout kind of game?
No, I think it's strictly a time of possession game. You're going to see teams run their basic stuff. They'll put a wrinkle or two in because they will have a little time for that. But it's going to be based on this is going to be a sloppy football game in my prediction. And so will the other one. The Ravens and Texans will be the same because the time is so short. So I look for 2 low-scoring games because I think the offenses will be basic like that, just trying to keep possession of the ball and keep the clock running to minimize the amount of plays, to minimize the risk of injury after playing 4 days prior. That's what I see happening. And I can see this easily being a 19-16, the first 1 to 20 wins type game. I don't see it shooting out. I'll be shocked if it shot out, but I would love it because I love points. But I can see the first 1 to 20 winning the game.
These slop fests, especially in Pittsburgh, those tend to favor us all the way, don't they?
Oh yeah. Yeah, they usually favor Pittsburgh. I believe last time Kansas City was in Pittsburgh, they got blown completely out of the stadium. Because I think that was the game I was at. Matter of fact, we left at halftime because it was 35-7.
Yeah, because they inducted you into the Ring of Honor.
Ring of Honor, yeah.
Before the game started, so you were able to leave at halftime.
Yeah, my wife and I left at halftime. Yeah,
makes sense.
Makes sense. So we did. I told them, no, y'all do everybody else at halftime. It's supposed to rain. I'm out of here early.
I love it. All right. Let's wrap this baby up. Get you back in bed. For those that don't know, Lou's been fighting a cold. He's been battling 26 hard minutes out here. And by the way, JPJ, with your calf injury, this is what a man looks like right here. He shows up. Shows out. Learn it.
I could pull my robe back up.
I'm just playing. JPJ would kick the shit out of me.
oh yeah.
And I couldn't run away from him
right now.
I could not run away from him. Give me your score prediction for this game, Lou. I know you just said it could be messy. Let's lock you in.
2016 Steelers.
Boom. I love it. I'm going to go a little higher scoring. I think the sloppiness affects the defenses a little more than it does the offenses. I'm going to say 24-20 Steelers.
All right. Still got the same point differential. I like it.
Yes, sir. And with that, we're going to send Lou to bed with a bottle of NyQuil. Me, I'm going to go watch some football because I'm a trooper. For Lou Willard, I'm Corey Idle. This is Six Rings and Counting. We will catch you guys next week. Merry Christmas, fools.